This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. My guest today is Chris Zhu. Chris is the founder of Mirror World, a game matrix powered by an interoperability SDK layer that accelerates Web3 game development for Web2 developers. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to share what we're building here. Excited
to talk to you today, Chris, and learn all about Mirror World. Before we do that, let's just learn a little bit about yourself. So what we do at the beginning of the show is get you to introduce yourself. Love to hear a little bit about your background and what you've been doing in the lead up to Mirror World.
Yeah, of course. So I came from a financial as well as content background. So I did both, investment and strategy for large corporations like ByteDance, which is like TikTok's mother company. But at the same time, I also produced films for companies like LVMH, as well as like MAC Cosmetics, and features, across Asia. So my background has always been in both finance and entertainment at the cross section of both. I was a part of the strategy investment team at ByteDance for a while before joining one of their SaaS products that were working internally on and serving 5 million or 4 to 5 million DAUs on a daily basis. And it was there that I got to know, different artificial intelligence algorithms that would help manufacture information at the highest scale. At the same time, it would also, help consumption of information. So for example, to put it more simply, an algorithm like search is essentially helping users find information and consume information more efficiently. And an algorithm like recommendation algorithm is essentially helping information find users more efficiently, right? So either one of those algorithms and technology can really greatly improve the efficiency of what we call, intelligence augmentation. And we, did a lot of preliminary research there when we were at ByteDance. And it was really interesting to see that, from the information manufacturing perspective, there were also a lot of different algorithms or technology that could empower information transfer and information manufacturing. So we looked at algorithms like decision tree, natural language processing, and we also, dove into the technology of blockchain. And that's when, I started thinking about the intersection of artificial intelligence, NFTs, and just the underlying structure of utilizing open economics within, a blockchain-empowered ecosystem. And that was born, Mirror World.
Yeah, nice, Chris. So another way of understanding this in really simple terms, I think, is simply by what you've got in, I think it's your Twitter bio. So it says, obviously, that you're the founder and CEO of Mirror World. You're an avid fan of Akira, which is great. Maybe we can talk about that later. But you're all about, building a Web3 AI gaming matrix. But really, in simple terms, you describe it as building Web3's Nintendo, right?
Yes. So the reason why we call it Web3's Nintendo is because if we look back on, the famous brands and the famous characters that Nintendo really produces, we really thought that it's one set of, characters that allows users to enter, multiverses of games. And that gaming matrix perspective really captured our imagination when we're thinking about what would happen if digital asset ownership was combined with this, open interoperability within these games. Just imagine Mario in a 2D platform game and then transferring into a 3D racing game when the characters are really owned by our users. We think that that interoperability offers its own value when you allow developers to build on top of this ecosystem. So I think from my perspective, I took a lot of inspiration from how ByteDance, organized information and how Nintendo really produced amazing content behind which there's amazing technology as well. And we think that there could be Web3 aspects that could be implemented into this ecosystem to capture value, not just for Nintendo, who receives 70% of their revenue through licensing, but also for the users that own the assets.
Yeah, very nice. Well, you're right, Chris, in that Nintendo is an incredible brand within, I suppose, the more traditional gaming industry, and some of the characters and titles that belong in that Nintendo universe, such as Mario or Zelda or whoever you want to talk about. Legends of gaming, but we're not talking about Nintendo. We're talking about kind of a Web3, a new kind of brand that you guys want to build in the metaverse. I'd love to hear more about some of the use cases that you're hoping to enable here, Chris. So, understand, having a Mario type character that can kind of cross through different gaming universes. That's a cool concept in itself. So talk more about this idea of creating, I guess, digital native beings that are capable of moving across universes and learning and communicating, I guess, with their fellow AIs, but also their human owners, right? So what are some of the different use cases that will be made possible?
Yeah, like I said, our team originally started looking at, natural language processing algorithms, and we did a lot of deployments for large gaming companies across the world when we wanted to make these NPCs more intelligent and make them, interact with their users more intelligently or more authentically, really. So, for example, if you're playing GTA and like you're talking to one of the NPCs repeatedly, it really feels like you're out of that loop, right? Before you were like having this amazing time, but once you kick it a couple of times, it like starts repeating itself. So that immersiveness, I think, essentially kind of draws you into that metaverse or digital realm, so to speak. And when we were, deploying our games for Mirror World, we realized that a lot of our users actually were really curious to see if they could communicate, with their digital asset, and they really believed in the sense that they could raise or interact with the intelligent beings, so that they could, achieve a higher level of intelligence, which was doable actually through machine learning algorithms on our platform. So we developed a development system where the users can talk to their NFTs, talk to their dynamic NFTs, and we will log that change on chain so that every interaction is essentially your memory with the digital companion, and it could be logged as a metadata onto the blockchain. And then we would use that and link that into the different games that you play, so that social connection that you have is actually transferred across different products that we roll out. So just imagine one of the games where you're like playing a hack and slash, and your character got stronger because you've been increasing the intimacy of this character and you. So you've been interacting and talking to it, and you're learning about their worldview, their personality, and by nature in a real world, that kind of social activity should really increase your likelihood in your relationship with a person, for example. And in the digital world, we think that these digital NFTs are really representing the native beings of these digital world.
Yeah, very cool, Chris. Sounds very, very cool, very ambitious. Love to hear a little bit about some of the early games that are on the Mirror World platform. I'm just looking through now, and you can see. So there's a few here. We can talk about them really briefly, maybe. So firstly, you've got something called the AI virtual being, and it says Mirror is an intelligent virtual being that evolved from the fusion of leftover human data in the Web2 world, and now they are willing to talk to you about everything. And the status, there's a beta version launched here, and you can talk, and something called a soul chip. So just talk us through what the AI virtual being is all about here, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. So the AI virtual being is like your portal into communicating with your dynamic NFT or intelligent NFT. So it's essentially the development system I just talked about, where you're able to level up your AI from like the lowest level of intelligence and then raise it so it becomes smarter and stronger across the different games that we produce. And that is the beta that we rolled out. And SoChip is essentially an NFT that powers the backend algorithm. So we use it as a proof for your ownership of the AI-powered SOL, is what we call it, so that other projects that are within the ecosystem that have deployed our API or used our technology, their users or their holders for those projects can combine a SOL NFT with one of their NFTs and allow their characters to start interacting with the users. So an example would be a project called Ready Player Cat. We had it done for Voxel Deus, Explorer. So a lot of different NFT projects on OpenSea, their users came to our website and started interacting with their NFTs and really learn about the background history of their characters.
Yeah, very interesting. And so there's a couple of other games that are I guess in test mode at the moment. Marama, Brawl of Mirror. You got Beacon coming soon. So you want to just talk briefly to some of these other games that are available as well?
Yeah, of course. So the idea for the entire ecosystem is to provide the infrastructure to allow developers to build on top of this ecosystem. So right now, the first couple of games that are rolled out are casual mobile games, really deployed on the native end, where users can play. Marama is a hack and slash vertical ARPG, so very easy to play. Just use one finger and then you can go through the different levels. And then the second game is called Brawl Mirror, which is a PvP battle arena where you can interact with the competitors and really push each other off the platform, where the mirrors are competing to go through a tunnel and there's a platform battling. And then from Beacon, it's a tower defense. So the idea is to really have these large scale games, these casual games with large scale audiences that could be onboarded within our ecosystem, and they're very, very easy to play on a mobile platform. So yeah, those are the games that we currently have, and we're actually actively onboarding more developers just across the globe. People who are interested in using our technology have been inquiring for us to onboard them, and we'll probably release more information regarding that at maybe Q3, Q4 this year.
Yeah, nice, Chris. Okay, and are the games intended to be play to earn games? So, and what if so? What do users earn?
Yeah, so every game has its own internal economy connected by one single token called the Mirror World Matrix token, so MWM. So MWM token essentially will be the in-game currency for all of these, but assets within these games are all priced with stablecoin. So how we think about the play to earn mechanism is that there will be earning if you put enough effort into the game, and if you learn from the game and really perfects your gameplay. But I don't think it's necessarily the most important part of our ecosystem, where we want to offer fun games for both Web2 and Web3 user with easy to play mechanisms. And the user experience itself, we want to improve. So, for people who do care about earning, there are definitely ways for you to generate Mirror World Matrix tokens, either through PvP battles or ranking ladders and such and so forth. But for people who just want to enjoy good games, these casual games are perfect.
Yeah, that's good to hear, Chris. I think it's clear at the moment that the gaming experience does have to come first if you're going to have any kind of stickability and ability to grow your users in the long term. It's also kind of I guess it's a funny time at the moment for let's just say blockchain gaming or play to earn gaming. What's a funny time in crypto, really, just because we're in the kind of the depths of a fairly intense bear market all of a sudden, and we've seen the astronomical rise of a platform like Axie Infinity, and then a subsequent astronomical fall, really. So if that is the context, what do you think happens next? Is it just kind of a case of, doing what builders do in the bear market and just building out your platform as best you can and making the user experience as positive as you can, and hoping that eventually the growth comes back and you'll be well positioned when it does?
Yeah, so I think the focus for the platform definitely is ripe for the next wave of disruption. So what I mean by that is when we were making, the game Matrix, we found that there were a lot of issues that will allow that were, blocking most users of entering the game. So for example, a lot of NFT based games require you to purchase their assets on a web app and then come back to the game and start playing. Axie is essentially, a mining machine where you're mining their tokens. So the further emission and further breeding of these tokens or NFTs would actually, harm the economy up to a certain point when the growth rate really stalls, right? And I think more and more people are starting to realize that and really focusing on gameplay. So we are very, very sure that there will be really capable studios producing amazing content within the bear market. And when it's, the bull market, they will have amazing content. But one issue, is left unsolved is essentially when you have good content, for example, on a mobile base, there is not enough tools to help developers solve the issue of retention and conversion. So what I mean by that is when even if you do build an amazing crypto game and you require your users to purchase their assets on a web app and like hop out of your mobile game, that experience is just really fragmented. And we realized that when we were rolling out our own game, and we really decided to focus on kind of maximizing and optimizing for the mobile experience on a couple of different routes. One is essentially the authentication part, where we think that there needs to be a very capable SDK for mobile development for just login and authentication for the developers. So let's say you run ads on a Web2 network and you really want your users to be able to download your game and start playing directly. And that's one of the key points for people to start activating. And then after they log in and create an account, you should be able to generate a wallet so that they don't have to use Phantom or anything to sign in, because most people in the world that are playing games do not have such a infrastructure in place, right? And if you require one of the users to purchase token outside of the game and then log into the game, that's definitely going to cause a drop off on conversion. And then the last stage is essentially when there is a purchase happening, we should be payment agnostic on the marketplace, and there should be a marketplace directly within the app that the game is running on. So we think that these are all opportunities for us to solve, and we actually consolidated a lot of our development tools during the Matrix development when we were developing these games, and really have that indexing and marketplace SDK in place. So like I said, the next 6 months of this year, we will probably be focusing a lot of effort on onboarding more developers onto our ecosystem, because we have those toolkits mature and ready in place. And if you log into mirrorworld.fun and look at our marketplace, that's entirely built with our JS market SDK. And we have a middleware of a custodian wallet that can directly communicate with the marketplace SDK, so that you can implement that wallet directly into a Unity-based app, so that that whole flow is just seamless.
Sounds seamless indeed, Chris. Very interesting. You mentioned the Phantom wallet, which of course is a Solana wallet, and I can see on the Mirror World website it says that Mirror's migrating from Ethereum to Solana. So just explain the thinking and the context here.
Yeah, so we were originally, deploying our assets on ETH, and we were able to deploy a lot of our mintable and upgrading contracts on Ethereum directly, and we sold our first batch of assets on OpenSea as well, back in October. And when we were doing, the deployment for our games, we realized that we needed to look for either, layer 2 solutions or alternate L1 chains. And during that time, we started talking to different communities and different chains, and we believe in a single thesis, is that mobile user experience is very important for our games to succeed, or for any crypto game with microtransaction to succeed. That user experience is really, really important. But at the same time, you also really need that upstream of marketplace launch pads, esport teams, and just the infrastructure and ecosystem in general. And then in the downstream, you need a good user experience on the wallet. You need devices support. You need application stores support, and payment systems as well. And when we're looking across different ecosystems for infrastructure support, we realized that Solana was the one that put a lot of effort onto kind of the macro ecosystem, not just on the gaming content side of things. And I really think that there is going to be an economy of scale when these pieces come together. And that's when we made the decision to transition from EVM to Solana building. And yeah, I think the volume on Magic Eden, the launch pads on Solana, as well as like Phantom's user experience is speaking for itself. And I really think that the developer community within Solana is amazing. So yeah, that was the reason why we transferred to Solana.
Makes sense, Chris. Thank you for that. All right, well, let's just finish off this part of the podcast. I can see you've got some pretty impressive backers. Just talk to me about the kind of runway you have. What kind of funding have you got enough to keep you going for? I guess the immediate future as we kind of battle through this bear market, and who are some of the investors that are backing you guys?
Yeah, of course. So it's really interesting because we were lucky to have an amazing community that also invested in the initial Genesis collection sale for NFTs. And aside from that, we raised our first round of funding from amazing backers like Galaxy Interactive, FTX Ventures, as well as Republic Crypto, alongside our follows like Avocado DAO, YGC, Marana Ventures, such and so forth. And that was essentially in January. So we've been in stealth mode developing for the last 6 months. It's interesting to see that we raised $4 million and publicly announced that in March, but now we still have more than that in the bank, just because we were generating revenue from the technology we were deploying for other projects, as well as the NFT and in-game assets that we were able to sell to the community and really grow with them. And an interesting number, right? So before March, we had it being in stealth mode developing for a while, and our community was at like 12,000 on Twitter and 7,000 on Discord. And now in the 3 months, actually, especially since the bear market, we were able to grow exceptionally fast. And we are right now at 45,000 on Twitter and over 40,000 on Discord, and growing massively by day. Yeah, and the runway that we have right now will sustain us for more than 2 years. But we are actively looking for new ways to generate revenue, as well as raise additional capital so that we can accelerate the development process. But so far, I think it's been going good for us. Very lucky to have a great development team that have accelerated a little bit since bear market, I would say.
Awesome. Sounds good, Chris. All right, well, let's go to a very quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll have some fun. We'll run you through the very famous Crypto Conversation hot take round. Back in 1 second.
For crypto indices and benchmarking, Brave New Coin's powerful indexing engine can calculate high-frequency intraday and end-of-day indices for a wide range of index products. Brave New Coin's custom indices team delivers experienced consultancy, premium data, and trusted calculation. Contact BNC today to find out more.
All right, we are back, and I'm with Chris Zhu. Chris is the CEO and founder of Mirror World, a game matrix powered by an interoperability SDK layer aiming to accelerate Web3 game development and attract a whole bunch of Web2 game developers and build out the metaverse. Exciting stuff. Chris, I like to finish each Crypto Conversation podcast with a quick round of rapid fire Crypto Conversation hot takes. Are you up for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, Chris. Just going to run a bunch of questions at you. Just give me your honest opinions, really, hot take style. Question one, bit of a funny one for you, but where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
I would say very right to the multi-chain optimist.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Of course you are. What would you say, though, Chris, is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Mobile is going to be the big break for all of the chains, and you should focus on mobile development in the next 2 years.
Nice, I like that. All right. Well, Bill Gates famously said, Chris, that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So let's say Web3 or even Web3 gaming. What does it look like in 10 years' time?
Yeah, in 10 years' time, I think there will be millions of users playing, single large games on a daily basis. But I would say that in 10 years' time, every game would have crypto aspects for their microtransactions.
Nice, I love it. All right, William Gibson, famous sci-fi author, Chris, he said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. With that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people just aren't really aware of it?
Sorry, the last bit cut out a little bit.
Just looking for an example of the future being here right now, but most people around the world aren't yet aware of it. What's an example of that?
Yeah, sorry, just trying to wrap my head around that.
Don't worry, Chris, we'll just skip that one. It's absolutely fine. Instead, we'll zoom out. We'll get weird as we start to get to the end of the show. It's what we like to do. Time to zoom out. What do you see as the long-term future for the human race? Do you see dystopia or utopia?
Yeah, so we always talked about what are the two ways that humans can evolve. We believe that one is explore outwards into space, and the other is explore inwards into simulations, right? And I think long-term future, both those things will happen. But from our perspective, we think that a collective conscience with intelligence augmentation can really happen when you were able to, upload consciousness onto, I don't know if it's the chain or the cloud, but, upload your consciousness and share that knowledge with the global population as a whole. And I think human race will reach there one day.
Fantastic. Very nicely said, Chris. Thank you. I enjoyed that. The final question, of course, is what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show? Yeah,
that's hard, man. I'll give you my top 3. Is that all right?
Of course.
Yeah, so Foundation by Asimov is definitely my classic favorite. The second one is going to be Solaris. Solaris is an amazing movie. And then inspired by those guys and really, changing the commercial and artistic film scene, Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is my third favorite.
Yeah, great choices, Chris, but also got to give a shout out because we did mention it right at the beginning. Akira, you're an Akira fan as well?
Yes, 100%. Otomo is one of my favorite directors. And what fascinates me about Akira is the music production behind the whole series. So I come from, movie producing perspective. And when Otomo was making Akira, he gave one direction to his music and band team. And that was essentially the line that says, the future is primitive. And that's all he gave as a direction. So when you're hearing like the sounds of Akira at the back, it's West Africa and Central Africa drums as the backdrop of their sampling. And then it's really dystopian noises on top of the city noises. And that combination, I think, just captures the future so well.
Yeah, pure cyberpunk.
Yeah, 100%. You gotta destroy before you rebuild, man.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Hey, thanks, Chris. This has been fun. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for coming on the show. Nothing else to say really except hand the metaphorical microphone back to your good self. Please tell the people where they can go to find you on Twitter or wherever else you like to hang out online, and also where they should go to learn all about what you guys are doing with Mirror World.
Yeah, so definitely follow our socials on Join Mirror World at Twitter, and definitely check out our website called mirrorworld.fun. And my account will probably be retweeted a lot on Join Mirror World as well once in a while. So feel free to learn a little about our gaming matrix and join our community to build the Web3 Nintendo with us.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you, Chris. All the best, and bye for now.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye, guys.
All right, team, there you go. That was Chris from Mirror World. Yeah, sounds very ambitious, as I say, very ambitious. But that's a great name, Mirror World, in itself. I mean, pure sci-fi, a little bit cyberpunk as well. Shout out Akira. So yeah, very appropriate. It'd be fascinating to see how these guys build out their platform. To encourage you to go have a look. Links, of course, are in the show notes. But yeah, we reach the end of another show. Thanks, team. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. See ya.